There are moments in life when silence becomes so loud that it drowns out everything else. You lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, tears streaming down your face, wondering if anyone understands what you're going through. Your heart feels heavy. Your prayers feel unanswered, and the walls around you whisper loneliness. You scroll through your phone, searching for comfort, for a message, for a sign. And yet, there's nothing. Just you and your pain. But in that silence, something unseen is happening. A presence so gentle, so merciful, leans closer than your own breath. He hears the sound of your breaking heart before it ever reaches your lips. He knows the weight of the sigh you release before you even let it out. You think you're alone, but you're not, because Allah is listening always. Not just when you speak, but when you can't find the words. Not just when you raise your hands, but when your soul trembles in the dark. There is never a moment, not even a second, when Allah turns away from you. He is closer than anyone who has ever loved you. Closer than the mother who carried you, the friend who comforts you, or the teacher who guides you. When the world stops listening, when people forget, when everything you built falls apart, He remains, listening, watching, understanding, and maybe, just maybe, that pain you're feeling is not a punishment, but a call, a divine invitation to return, to pause the noise of the world and whisper back, Allah, I know you're here. Sometimes life places you in a season of silence, so deep that even your own thoughts begin to echo. You sit there wondering, does anyone even see what I'm going through? You look around and realize that the people you thought would understand can't seem to grasp the weight you're carrying. You smile, you laugh, you say, Alhamdulillah. But deep inside, there's a voice whispering, I wish someone could just understand me without me having to explain. That's when you must remember, there is one who already does. Allah hears the unspoken. He doesn't just hear the words that come out of your mouth. He hears the tremor in your heart when you hold back tears. He hears the plea behind your silence when you stare at the prayer mat, unable to speak. He hears the pain in your chest when you say, oh, I'm okay, knowing you're anything but. The world often listens to your words, but Allah listens to your intentions. People may misunderstand your silence as indifference, but He understands it as exhaustion. People may forget the promises they made to you, but Allah never forgets a single dua you whispered, not even the ones you thought were too small to matter. Every thought, every sigh, every heartbreak is heard and recorded. The Quran reminds us that Allah is Sami, the all-hearing. Nothing escapes His awareness. not your pain, not your hopes, not your quiet moments of patience. Even the tears that never fall are seen by Him. The Prophet once told us that when a believer goes through hardship, even the prick of a thorn becomes a means of forgiveness. So imagine, then, what it means when you carry a heart full of grief that no one else sees. Allah hears it all, and with every breath of that pain, He draws you closer. When you can't speak, remember, silence itself is a language Allah understands. Sometimes your heart cries out louder than your tongue ever could. You may not say, "Why, Allah, help me," but the ache in your chest says it 100 times over. The angels write it down, and Allah responds in ways you don't always recognize. Maybe He sends a kind word your way, a verse you stumble upon, or a peace that suddenly washes over you in the middle of chaos. These are His replies, quiet yet powerful. So the next time you feel like no one is listening, know this truth: you are being heard by the One who created the sound of your voice. You don't need eloquence. You don't need perfect words. You just need sincerity. Allah doesn't listen to the fluency of your speech. He listens to the purity of your heart. Whisper, cry, or simply think, and He hears you. Because you are never unheard in the presence of the One who hears everything. Even the words your soul is too tired to say. There are moments when you pour your heart into dua after dua, day after day, and still nothing seems to change. You wake up hoping that today will be the day Allah answers, but the same silence greets you again. That silence can feel unbearable. You begin to wonder if your prayers are reaching anywhere at all. You question yourself. Why am I doing something wrong? Has Allah turned away from me? But the truth is far from that. That silence is not neglect, it is divine wisdom. Sometimes Allah's quietness is the language of His deepest love. When you call upon Him and He doesn't respond immediately, it's not because He hasn't heard you. It's because He knows when the response will truly benefit you. You see, we live in a world that craves instant results, instant messages, instant food, instant solutions. But Allah's plan operates on divine timing, not human impatience. His silence is a part of your story, a space where your faith is tested, your patience is refined, and your heart learns to trust beyond understanding. When Allah is silent, He's not absent. He's working behind the scenes in ways you cannot see. Sometimes the delay is protection. You may be asking for something that looks good right now, but could harm your heart later. You might think a certain person, opportunity, or path is meant for you, but Allah sees the future you cannot. Out of His mercy, He holds it back. What you perceive as rejection is often redirection, a turning of your life towards something far better, something that aligns with what your soul truly needs, not just what your heart temporarily desires. Other times, his silence is preparation. You may not be ready yet for what you're asking for. Maybe your heart needs to grow stronger, your faith deeper, or your intention purer. So, Allah delays the answer, not to hurt you, but to shape you into the person capable of receiving it. Think of the seed buried in darkness. For months, it looks lifeless, but underneath, growth is happening. The roots are forming before the flower ever sees the sun. That's how Allah's plan works. When He is silent, He is growing you in secret. And then there are moments when His silence is simply a test, not to see if you'll give up, but to show you how much your heart truly relies on Him. Will you stop praying when the answer doesn't come? Or will you keep knocking, trusting that the door will open at the perfect time? Allah's silence asks you to believe in His wisdom more than your timeline. Because when He finally answers, and He will, you'll realize why He made you wait. So the next time you feel that silence, don't let it break your spirit. Let it build your trust. Know that behind that stillness is a promise unfolding. And remember, silence from Allah never means He isn't listening. It means He's crafting something far greater than you asked for. And exactly when your heart is ready, you will see it. There are moments when pain enters your life so suddenly that it steals the air from your lungs. You wake up one day and the world feels heavier than ever. The things that once brought you joy now seem distant. You wonder why it's happening. Why Allah would allow your heart to hurt so deeply. But what if that pain isn't a punishment? What if it's a language, a divine conversation between you and the one who loves you most? Pain is not always there to break you. Often, it's there to wake you. When life is comfortable, we forget. We drift away. We get distracted. We stop talking to Allah as often. But when pain strikes, suddenly our hearts remember. Suddenly, the dua that once felt optional becomes essential. Pain has a way of pulling you back into sujud, reminding you who's truly in control. It softens the heart that became distracted by the world. It tears down pride and replaces it with humility. Pain is not a wall between you and Allah. It's the bridge that leads you back to Him. Think of every hardship you've ever faced, every heartbreak, loss, or disappointment. If you look back carefully, you'll see something powerful. Each one brought you closer to Allah in a way that comfort never did. When the world turned its back, you found yourself whispering His name more sincerely. When people failed you, You discovered that his door never closes. When you had nowhere left to turn, you turned to the one who never leaves. That's the beauty of pain. It strips away illusions and reveals the truth. Allah is all you ever needed. Every tear you shed is seen. Every sleepless night is recorded. Every heartbeat of sorrow is witnessed. The Prophet taught us that no believer is ever afflicted with pain, not even the prick of a thorn, except that Allah erases sins through it. So imagine the reward when the pain is so deep it brings you to tears, yet you remain patient. That's not weakness. That's spiritual strength. Your pain becomes your ibadah. Your endurance becomes your da'ah. Your silence becomes your remembrance. Sometimes Allah allows pain because it's the only way to break the walls you built around your heart. It's His way of saying, I miss your voice. I miss your closeness. Come back to me. When everything around you collapses, that's often when you finally kneel and say, Wah, Allah, I can't do this without you. And in that moment of surrender, the purpose of your pain is fulfilled. It brought you back to Him. So the next time you're in pain, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Talk to Allah through it. Let it refine you, not define you. Let it remind you that your tears are not wasted. They are washing your heart clean. Pain may be heavy, but within it lies a hidden mercy. It is Allah calling your name, asking you to return home. There's a special kind of a loneliness that no crowd can cure. That quiet ache in the heart when you feel unseen, even in a room full of people. You may have thousands of contacts, followers, or friends, yet something still feels missing. That emptiness you feel isn't because you lack company. It's because your soul is yearning for connection with its Creator. When your heart drifts away from Allah, no amount of attention, success, or companionship can fill the void. True peace begins not when you're surrounded by people, but when you feel connected to the one who made you. The Prophet would often retreat into solitude to be with Allah. Before revelation, he spent nights in the cave of Hira, not escaping the world, but seeking meaning beyond it. He found comfort in silence, because in silence, he found Allah. That's what we're missing today. We fill every quiet moment with noise, music, scrolling, conversations, afraid to be alone with our thoughts. But if you can't be alone without feeling lonely, it's not your surroundings that are empty. It's your heart that's disconnected. Loneliness becomes a blessing when you use it to connect. Every moment you spend alone is an invitation from Allah to speak to Him. You don't need eloquent dua, perfect Arabic, or a prayer mat to begin. Just sincerity. Talk to Him in your car, in the kitchen, in the moments before you sleep. Tell him what you can't tell anyone else. Tell him about your fears, your confusion, your dreams. Whisper your secrets into the silence and trust that he's listening, because he is. That's not nuts. Allah's listening doesn't begin when you raise your hands. It begins the moment your heart turns toward him. When you fill your solitude with remembrance, it transforms. The same silence that once felt heavy becomes peaceful. The same loneliness that once brought tears begins to heal you. Dhikr, the remembrance of Allah, fills the soul the way oxygen fills the lungs. Each time you say, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, you're reminding your heart of its purpose. You're telling your soul, you're not alone. Allah is with you. And the more you talk to him, the less you'll crave validation from others. The more you confide in him, the less you'll depend on the world to comfort you. Because once you've tasted the peace of being close to Allah, no amount of attention can compare. The companionship of people can make you feel known for a moment, but the companionship of Allah makes you feel understood for a lifetime. So turn your loneliness into connection. Let it be the doorway through which your soul finds peace again. Because the truth is, you were never alone. Every quiet moment, every heartbeat, every tear was witnessed by the one who has been with you all along. When your heart remembers that, loneliness no longer hurts, it heals. My dear brothers and sisters, life will take you through seasons where you feel unseen, unheard, and forgotten. You will go through nights when your tears fall silently and your heart aches louder than your voice ever could. But remember this truth. You were never truly alone. Allah was there in every heartbeat, in every tear, in every quiet warab that no one else heard. He never stopped listening, never turned away, never abandoned you. Even when you drifted, he waited. Patiently, lovingly, mercifully. For the moment your heart would return to him, every prayer you've ever made still exists. Every dua you whispered in exhaustion still floats between the heavens and the earth, waiting for its appointed time. Allah's delay is not denial. His silence is not absence. He hears you in ways no one else can, and he responds in ways no one else will. He listens not to your words, but to your sincerity. He answers not just your requests, but your needs, the ones yourself don't even understand. So don't let the weight of silence make you lose hope. Don't mistake the waiting for being forgotten. Allah is with you through every hardship, every pause, every moment of confusion. When you can't speak, your tears speak for you. When you can't move, your patience is seen. And when your heart feels too heavy to lift, remember, He is the one who carries you through it all. If your soul is tired, rest it with Allah. If your heart feels empty, fill it with remembrance. If you feel unseen, remind yourself, the one who made your heart is watching over it. You are never alone. The same Lord who listened to Yunus in the belly of the whale, to Musa on the mountain, and to Maryam under the palm tree, listens to you too. The same mercy that reached them can reach you right now, wherever you are. So tonight, when you sit in silence, don't feel abandoned. Feel chosen. Because Allah only calls those He loves to speak to Him. Whisper your worries to Him. Cry if you must, and say, Ya Allah, I know you're listening. I know you've never left me. Say. And in that moment, your heart will find peace. If this message touched you, if it reminded you of Allah's nearness, then share it. Because someone out there might need this reminder tonight. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep spreading messages that soften hearts, heal souls, and remind the world that Allah is always listening.